At Viber Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Viber Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Viber Finance. We are the future of crypto.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Viber Live. My name is Adam. Hope you guys are having a good day. Start of the week. Happy Monday. Gonna get into some interesting stuff today. Had some really good conversations over the weekend about what's been going on in this market, in the crypto space, in the world, the macro, everything. It's been chaos, I would say the least, if you're following the mainstream media. So let's try to dissect some of that and see through it. What's up, Godfather J6? Appreciate you stopping in. If you're not subscribed, like, follow, share on Viber Finance, Twitter. Let's check the bubbles today, see how we're doing. Hopefully we got some green in the picture. All right. The daily. This was kind of expected, right? Bitcoin is chopping sideways. There's the banking system is, you're hearing bad news everywhere. Credit Suisse, UBS, Deutsche Bank. It's bad over there in Europe. So, we luckily over here, we hadn't experienced the small banking crisis like over in Europe. And now, unfortunately, it's starting to creep over here to the United States. But that's why we're in crypto. That's why we have a solution to this, to all this banking nightmare. That Balaji guy's tweet that he threw up a week or so ago about Bitcoin going to $1 million. That was the greatest marketing tool for crypto, for Bitcoin, for all that stuff. It's going to let people know that keeping crypto in their actual bank accounts or keeping cash in your bank account is riskier than pretty much crypto is. And that's crazy. That did not exist, I would say, maybe 6 months ago. The mainstream narrative was crypto risky, cash is good. And now that's completely switched. So see Hex here on Coin Paprika, how we're doing. We had flipped XRP temporarily, but this recent dip back at number 7. And I swear, this shocks people every day when I send them this chart or this Coin Paprika, and they look on here and see Hex in the top 10, and all the sites they're used to seeing were nowhere to be found. So really bizarre how that is. And that's only a good thing. That's bullish for Hex, bullish for Pulsechain, that we're still buried. Once we're everywhere, it's going to be a good time. So I want to get into this market, this article right here, talking about tokenized real estate, crypto hungry for real world assets. We've been talking a lot about tokenization and how that's going to be not even a narrative, but it's going on right now. Goldman Sachs, Fidelity, their plans are to tokenize everything they can get their hands on. It's a $700 trillion market, real world assets that they can tokenize. And real estate is going to be a massive, massive part of that tokenization. And it really started for me back in like 2020 when I found Propy and started looking into, wow, you can actually throw money into these projects and earn 10% back a year just for doing that. It's a way to diversify without you having to deal with all the nightmares that come with real estate. And, we're just scratching the surfaces of where this is going. We may be far from the target of a $1.4 trillion industry for global real estate, But some companies are already using blockchain models that allow users to invest in fractions of properties. That's what Propy is. Tokenized real estate investment trusts, tokenized rental properties, tokenized mortgage-backed securities. All this stuff is going on chain, is getting tokenized. The NFT community with the JPEGs, that's going to change massively in the future. It's not going to just be JPEGs slapped around. There's actually going to be utility to NFTs. We were talking about on LCX a while back how they were putting Rolexes, high-end watches, sports cars, supercars, all this stuff is going on their market. So you're going to be able to sell items as NFTs. Oh, wow. I didn't even see this right here. Bob Ross, co-founder of Sologenic, which we've been talking about Sologenic for a while on this channel, said tokenized real estate's gaining attention because smart contracts reduce the need for paperwork. They also cut down on cost, time, and effort in buying the property. Fractional ownership also offers investors exposure to high-value assets at lower costs. Well, I wouldn't. That's pretty stupid. High exposure to high-value assets they can't afford. But this is just scratching the surface. When these big companies, when you start to see, just Goldman Sachs, Fidelity, all these big companies, big names in the headlines, that's bullish for crypto. It gives us a chance to front run this. This was a hilarious article for all you scammers out there. I don't know who the Crypto King was. I don't remember his channel or anything, but Canada's self-proclaimed crypto king was kidnapped, tortured, and held for ransom after fleecing investors out of millions of dollars. So $25 million or $41 million this guy scammed people out of. And I guess he was held for ransom after he bought exotic vehicles, Ferraris, all that. So if whoever you're watching on YouTube, if they're out buying all this stuff, that's probably a red flag. So just pay attention to who you're following out there. This is another article, kind of what I wanted to talk about today is how crypto now, with all the bad headlines, we're not seeing anything with the prices that's affecting them in a negative sense. We're seeing that negative headlines aren't driving the price of crypto down. Bitcoin's actually slowly going up. Since the start of the year, we're up almost 80%. And everything else around us is collapsing. And they're trying so hard to keep this narrative of banking or crypto bad, banks are safe, banks are good, so we don't all lose complete faith and there's just a ginormous bank run. This is a good article talking about how that they've held their own. Even the Fed's raising interest rates Wednesday. Fed futures rates are dramatically lower than the central bank's year-end targets of 5.1%. They're anticipating around 4.0% at the year's end. Things aren't good. Drops in treasury yields. The 10-year treasury is so volatile right now. If you look at the chart of that, and that's scary, to be honest with you. That's stuff that you don't really want to see, is volatility in treasuries, especially now that they're backing so many stable coins. USDC has so much US debt backing it that it's not good. I don't like it at all. I feel now it's crazy to say more comfortable with Tether because I don't think it's nearly as risky. I think they're backed with, I know there's a lot of Chinese debt, but I'd rather have Bitcoin backing it now. And it's crazy how these narratives shift. And this article too here, the SEC's Wells notice has led to a morale boost at Coinbase, says Brian Armstrong. Well, I don't know how this is a morale boost in the headlines because I saw that they insiders dumped like $7 million worth of Coinbase stock right before the Wells notice was issued. So all these guys knew what this was coming, and they all dumped a ton of their stock before it dipped like 15% last week. And so did Kathy Woods. She dumped too from ARK Investment. So all these guys know what's going on. They're ahead of the game. All of Congress, they front run stocks. It's so bad. And what I think is going to happen is they're going to eventually pass a law in the next year or two that says Congress is not allowed to trade stocks. And when they do that, that's going to be the local top of the market, because right there, they're going to dump or have already dumped, and that's going to be at the top. If you look at in September of 2021, right at the peak of the stock market, and when the bear market was about to happen in Q4, I was looking at CEO, what they were doing of the Fortune 500 companies, and 99% were net sellers at that point. So I knew the bull market was coming to an end. These guys knew, they always do. Nancy Pelosi is one of the best traders of all time. How's that? She makes $125,000 salary, and she's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Exactly, Scarlet Rose. They are trying to manipulate. It's so bad. This headline is a joke right here. So Coinbase is now being sued for their staking platform. And we talked about it last week, how the Hex Trust and MetaMask are both rolling out institutional staking, and they're going live today. I think today is the 27th. So for massive institutions, for hedge funds, for all these companies, they can now stake seamlessly. They have access to DeFi. They have all these different protocols now that the Hex Trust is integrated with. So all Boeing, Google, IBM, Microsoft, they're all on Hedera's governing council. Well, with Hex Trust and the interoperability these guys have, they can now stake with any of these DeFi assets that are supported by Hex Safe. So any ERC20, and MetaMask Institutional also went live today. So MetaMask, we use it for, a lot staking, for our sacrifices, and you can actually use MetaMask now to plug into it and TurboTax and sync it, so you can figure out what your net profits were on crypto. And that's something that I would never do, is sync my MetaMask to that kind of site. I do it on my own, but just that integration, it's coming. It's coming right now. It's happening. And we're being told that staking is bad. Coinbase is suing the SEC, rah, rah, rah. And it's all happening to scare us, to sell our bags, and allow these guys to roll out their framework and how staking works. So we as retail can watch Fidelity and watch these big companies and these institutions stake, and then say, oh yeah, see, this is safe. This is how you can do it. See, if you just follow Fidelity and go to their crypto platform or their crypto tab on their website, you can come down here and see why crypto. Why is it up? Why is crypto so up and down? Choose your path to crypto. Open an account now. Buy and sell Bitcoin and Ethereum commission free, starting with as little as $1. And you can also open business accounts now on here. And Fidelity is pioneering ways to help 401ks plan sponsors meet the demands of an evolving workforce. The Digital Assets Account, DAA, is a first of its kind opportunity that gives employees exposure to digital assets within their retirement plans. So this is all coming, guys. It's all coming really fast. Meanwhile, it's being banned for us. We're being told it's too risky. It's illegal. Rah, rah, rah. And it's all basically a scam to get you to sell so these guys can come in and buy up everything. At the end of the day, so I wanted to talk about Signature Bank for a little bit and what happened with that. I had some great conversations this weekend with people that a couple of years ago I never thought I'd be talking to. And the doors that crypto has opened up have just been, I'm super lucky and super fortunate for it. And I was talking to a very, very, very successful real estate entrepreneur, and he's really plugged in with what's going on in the mainstream, behind the scenes, and he has accounts with Fidelity. The reason we actually started talking is because when he had his account with Fidelity, they weren't even allowed to talk crypto. They weren't even allowed to mention it to him. So, it was kind of, he didn't like that. So I was basically giving him the rundown and everything. And that was a couple years ago in 2021. and how much how much has changed from being able to use some of these retail brokers like Johnson and Young, I believe, is one of them. So instead of struggling to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum a couple of years ago, it's came full circle where now it's so much easier. When I see that level, when you're buying, 6-7 figures at a time with no problem, that's awesome. That's what this space needs. And that's what these banks, unfortunately, these institutions are going to do. They're going to allow the big players to come in and they're going to custody everything for them. A big problem, like with this guy, is wants to use third-party brokers and have them custody his assets because it's way too risky to carry a seed phrase around and have ending up losing it or doing something wrong or getting hacked on your own. So for a certain person, crypto is almost still too risky, and self-custodying is not what they want to deal with. They want to have somebody else that they can trust do it. And once that happens, self-custody is always going to be there. I thought it was going to kind of be phased out, or somehow there was going to be a wall in between like the rails that we use and the rails that the banks are going to use. Like if we had Ethereum in our cold storage wallet, my fear was that we weren't going to be able to get it into a retail account or a bank account or some kind of crypto account like this. If you want to diversify into some kind of tokenized real estate or something like that through one of these platforms, I was fearing that, our ERC20s, how Uniswap goes from V2 to V3 and changes stuff, how maybe our MetaMask wallet wouldn't work with what these guys are doing. And that's not what I'm seeing at all. What I'm seeing is that they're building out interoperability with MetaMask for all their platforms. So we'll actually be able to send Bitcoin from our ledger to these accounts and they'll be able to credit them there. It's not like we're going to have to do everything, outside this system. It's all going to be fully integrated in the future. And the plan right now, so the conversation I was having this weekend was about Signature Bank and what really happened over there with them. It's not what you think on the surface. So back, 5-6 years ago, the technology Signet was created, and it was made by a lady named Blythe Masters, and Larry Summers had a lot of involvement in it too. And that Signet technology basically was a big threat to these banks. And they gave Signet, they told them, all the banks, JP Morgan, all these guys, Goldman Sachs, about it, and let them know this was coming. And they did what they always do. They sit on it. They do nothing. They built their stuff that failed. They realized what they were building wasn't going to compete. So what happened, what I was told what happened was, so this Signet was basically a competitor to Ripple's on-demand liquidity with everything they're building right now. That's massive for the future, for banking, for cross-border transfers, all that stuff. Being able to have instant settlement, on-demand liquidity, 24/7, that was lacking, and that's here now. So JP Morgan, I guess, presented this Signet technology to the Fed, years ago. And it was by this point running through Signature Bank. They had opened the bank up. It'd been running using this technology on the back end. And it started once Ripple became big enough and the threats were starting to be apparent, these guys all came together, sued Ripple to stall them, and put a plan together to build out their own infrastructure. And that's where Onyx came in. That's where this is being built, Fidelity's whole crypto service, all of this stuff. So, we're being told that Signature Bank failed. They were insolvent. They were doing risky stuff, rah, 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 rah. Well, that's not true at all. They weren't doing anything shady, in my opinion, at all. And FTX was the catalyst that kind of broke the straw. And they came out and said the bank was insolvent, and the Fed basically came in and took them over. So they created this bank called Bridge Bank. While after they were presented the Signet stuff, their solution was create Bridge Bank and start that. And once Silvergate went under, the FDIC and them were going to swoop in and acquire all of their assets for dirt cheap right now. All of the depleted cryptos that are down 90% right now. They get all of that. And also the key thing is they get the technology, that Signet technology, that 24/7 clearinghouse that all of these exchanges run on. The Fed, the FDIC, and Bridge Bank now own it. So this Operation Choke Point, that we're seeing right now is really, really happening. It's been happening. It's extremely real. But it's not how it's not how it's being presented in the media. Signature Bank was not insolvent. They were not doing anything shady. They were a threat to the current system. So what was the best way for them to neutralize that threat? Well, let's build a bank that whatever Bridge Bank is, and it's just so funny they use Bridge Bank kind of like as just like a troll to everybody. And then from there, they can slowly acquire everything that Signature Bank has built, all their technology, all their clearinghouses. So there's exchanges like FTX, Binance, everyone that's using the Signet technology, and it's still running through either Silicon Valley Bank or Signature Bank through a subsidiary. It's all up and running. But this is, I know it's a big problem because today is the last day that Bitstamp, for example, is using ACH deposits. So I can't use my bank anymore and just instantly put money onto this exchanges. And it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I'm going to have to now buy Bitcoin on PayPal or Cash App and then send it out to swap it or whatever. But it's just a hurdle that they're putting in the road for us, and it's only temporary. So the banks, institutions, all these big players are massive buyers of crypto right now. They're buying everything. Fidelity, they all want these cryptos, and they all want to own them and then sell them back to you as a derivative. That's the key. I thought I kind of had the idea that they wanted to shake everybody out of retail and then come in, buy everything, and then sell it back to you. But no. They don't even want to do that. They want to sell you a derivative of the cryptos, not the real thing. So just like with paper gold, paper silver, they want to sell you paper crypto. Meanwhile, they control and custody all the real assets. And that is what kind of shocked me with the conversations I was having this weekend. And this is really bad for Ripple too. I thought Ripple was going to kind of be the technology that everyone used, but it looks like they are going to just steal the Signet technology straight from these guys. I don't know if this was planned in the background, but it's so corrupt what they're doing right now. And this is going to be their way to choke off retail and now onboard you through their platforms, through their crypto programs. And meanwhile saying, yeah, you can still plug MetaMask in. You can still send in your stuff from cold storage. And slowly but surely, they're going to filter everything in to the big institutions. And probably how they're also going to roll out CBDCs now that they have the ability for 24/7 clearing and trading for stocks and bonds and all that. And they have it flawlessly running with Signature now. And it's now owned FDIC assured, I guess. I don't know if it is now, but they now own all the technology. And that is what the media and these headlines aren't telling you at all. You're being told staking bad, rah, 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 rah. Staking's bad, but not for institutions, not for banks, not for Boeing. It's safe for them. And only then, after it's safe, are we going to be able to do it. Once they roll out the red carpet and show you the way, then it will be safe for us. And then at that point, buying crypto, we're not even going to be buying the real assets. We're going to be buying derivatives if they get their way. And that's scary to me, is that it's just like the gold and silver markets right now, paper trading. You're going to be just trading digits on a screen while they own all of the real stuff. And that's why I'm here every day preaching, hold your coins in cold storage. Don't ever give them up, because these banks, these institutions, they want your crypto so bad. They want all of it. It's going to be the way that they thrive in the future, is through owning these cryptos and just pumping them up through the roof. And I was really shocked at how this kind of happened behind the scenes, how slimy it really is to see how this really happened. And now how Bridge Bank, FDIC owned, government Treasury Department pretty much owned, is now going to be controlling all of the exchanges and all the money going on and off the exchanges. And eventually they're going to make deposit tokens on Fidelity. I think they're going to replace stable coins for institutions. When you use these platforms, your money in your account is going to be transferred to a deposit token, and that'll be interoperable with all the different assets on there. You'll be able to swap for. But I don't think they're going to be the real assets. They're going to be derivatives, which is kind of disgusting to me. But we'll see. So regardless if Ripple rigs, they won't allow them into the game. Well, so yes and no. Ripple already got so far ahead, and they became such a big threat to the current banks that they had to shut them down. And Ripple are partners with Bank of America, Santander Bank. They do have a bunch of big partnerships. It's like my best analogy is like they're a bunch of mafia families and crime families competing to take over a territory. You got all kinds of different crime families fighting for the throne in New York City. And that's kind of how this is with Ripple, with JP Morgan, with Fidelity, with all these companies. They're all fighting for power, for intermediaryship, I guess, if that's a word. Weaponized judicial system. Yep, 100% it is. And it's been that way for a while. And we're waking up, though, the average person, which is a really good thing. This TikTok bill is jam-packed with BS crypto laws. I did not see that TikTok bill. I'll have to look into that. Very interesting. But yeah, guys, that's what I had for today. Is just don't ignore the mainstream FUD. Everything that's happening in the mainstream that's bad is to scare you and to have you sell your bags, to FUD you out of the cryptos you own. Oh, DeFi is getting a ban, so I should sell Aave or Compound or Synthetics or all these coins at rock bottom. I'll just dump out of them. And it's not a good idea, guys. I made that mistake last bull run, is dumping bags that I thought were going to be worthless next bull run or whatever. And you never know. The coins that you least expect it pump the most. For no good reason, I recently watched The Godfather and Godfather Part 2. Can't stop imitating Marlon Brando. That's funny. Epic movies right there. Some of the best movies ever made. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for today. If you're not following us, follow us on Twitter. Give us a like, subscribe. Trying to grow the channel. We are so shadow banned. I don't know what. I think it was a stream last week, but it's really funny. It said that there's been 0 to 1 person watching this whole time. It hasn't gotten above 1 person in my little StreamYard thing. I see at least Tin Tops, Scarlet Rose, HOA, Godfather, Bobby. There's at least a couple people in here. So one day we won't be shadow banned, but I'll be here every day streaming, hopefully bringing that alpha, doing that research so we can get ahead. We can front run what all these banks are doing, what all the big money's doing, and we can profit on the moves and the boneheaded mistakes that they make, because they will continue to do that. All right, Texan, little pump up. Like to see that. Let's see. Sologenics had a nice little pump. Hex. Let's hold the 8-cent floor. That would be really nice. Come on, Richard. Let's give us something nice, Richard. Give us a little tweet. Richard Hart quotes. Never knew that account existed. Let's check Richard's Twitter. More complicated than you think you are. You could spread your money across banks to get more FDIC insurance or use a sweep account. That does it for you. I'm not your accountant, lawyer, professional of any type, so do your own research. Richard always coming with that gravy. Beware scammers and imposters. This is your warning that Pulse and Pulsex can launch at any time without warning. Let's go. Definitely give that a retweet. Where are the scams and we know that. We're OGs here. If you're watching Vibra Finance through the shadow banning, our little channel here, hopefully you guys aren't going to be making any of these mistakes. The U.S. president should be able to ban TikTok in the name of national security without a 55-page new law that broadens the power of the executive branch. Oh, this is what you were talking about, Tin Top. I'm going to have to look into this. But honestly, I feel like they want you to see this for a reason. They want this published in the mainstream. They don't want you knowing that Bridge Bank now owns Signature and all their technologies, all their assets, that Fidelity is rolling out crypto for all these institutions this week and making it legal while telling you it's too risky. And then they're going to try to sell us some derivative product like Grayscale Bitcoin. That's what they're going to end up trying to sell us is Fidelity Bitcoin or JP Morgan Bitcoin. But we hold the real thing. Don't worry. Yours is just as good. Well, we hold the real thing, though. You don't need your Satoshis. Don't worry about that. So it's crazy. But I see through it all now. The dots are starting to really connect. And once Shanghai goes live, guys, this could be one of the only by the rumor, by the news events, when this happens. I really think ETH is undervalued. And once this ETH comes free from all these exchanges, it will find Rocket Pools, Lido, Anchor, Frax shares, and people will then find real DeFi again. And then people will find that Hex actually made Uniswap back in 2020. Hex created DeFi. So, all right, Flare. If any of you guys have Flare and you delegated, check your wallet because I just got 20% airdrop to me this morning. I had no clue. I'm earning 10 Flare a week in my when I've delegated to whatever validator it was. 10 coins a week. And because of how the new airdrop is working, because they switched it up from all the exchanges giving 36 of them, they bagged that, and you had to delegate with in a certain amount of time in Bitfrost or I think Decent Wallet. And if you did that, you now qualify for all the airdrops. So I had like 7,000 staked, and I got over 1,600 given to me today. So it literally a fifth of my bag. And now that's obviously delegated. So now I'm going to start earning 12 a week or something like that. And there's going to be 35 more drops. So Flare, you're going to 10x in Flare just for delegating if you had done it. And I think if you do it now, you still qualify. I think there's still time left because of the exchange nightmare. So I would look into that. This is one of the rare passive income opportunities where these coins that are coming out, they're not inflation. They're already built in. They're just airdropping over the next 36 months. So that's a big foot out there around Flare, is that there's massive inflation. Well, there's not. These coins are accounted for, and I think we're at pretty much rock bottom now once we got under 3 cents. You can delegate, earn passive income, and earn the monthly airdrop. Well, just how we did with Corium and Sologenics. And that's right. I forgot about the Core Nova party. I saw that Black Hexagon was there. She posted a really cool picture. I think Lindsay is going to have Fashion Coder on, hopefully for an interview so she can talk about it. And hopefully it was a great event. Hexagons got to meet some people in the Corium community. and vice versa, because Corium is building out competition and a solution for small banks to be able to compete with the JP Morgan Fidelities of the world. So that's why I support Corium. It was a free airdrop for holding Sologenics. So there was no money put into it, community driven. And that's what I like. I like the centralized stuff with DAOs, with voting, not the centralized garbage. And especially in the future when we're going to be buying derivatives of crypto while they own all the real things. That's how valuable this stuff is, guys. That's how scarce these assets are. These companies here want to FUD you out so you can basically sell them your bags. They can stake them in these institutional protocols, earn 6.5% like they've never done before without risking anything. And that's going to be a game changer for them. And then they're going to sell you a derivative while earning all the real yield. These cryptos are going to be around, the winners, the blue chips, for 30, 40, 50 years, I think. I really do. These are going to be the IBMs, the Microsofts of the future. And in 20 years, being able to say, yeah, I bought into all these coins when they were first launched. That's going to be a flex in itself. Owning Flare, owning Hedera, even Songbird. I have my Songbird delegated, just earning passive income. Who knows what are going to be the winners in the future, in the long, long run. So these are generational type opportunities with Stellar, with Quant, with Chainlink, even Bitcoin at sub 30K is cheap. Ethereum, all XRP, Cosmos, they're doing a ton right now, even though it's down a lot. These are when you buy. These are when generational wealth is created. I was bullish on Optimism and Arbitrum, but I'm leaning more towards Arbitrum and not Optimism. There's no loyalty behind these coins. Aptos too, same thing. No loyalty there, like in the Hex community. And that's going to be so big this next bull run, is having a strong, viral, loud community like we have. If you don't have that, you're not going to be in the top of the cryptos this next bull run. So that's why I really like Texan too, for all the community that they have behind it. The 400,000 plus strong that are there. That's going to be what separates the big winners from the decent coins in the next bull run, in my opinion, is community, hype, and narrative. And Texan has that. Pulsechain has that. That massive swarm behind it, that storm that's going to come. And it could be any day now, guys. So be ready. Always expect the unexpected in crypto. You never, ever know. Whoop, there goes the mouse. So that's all I got for today, guys. Appreciate all the support. Fidelity's approach on their website. Train your brain, sitting on the right side in the center. Let me grab the mouse. Let me pull that back up here. What's always sitting on the right? You can train your brain. That's so funny. Yep. So there you go. Focus on education right there. And that's going to be the narrative. Trust is built over years of experience. Since 2014, we've been an authority in crypto. Oh my God, that's such bullshit. The guy I was talking to this weekend has had accounts with Fidelity for years. And in 2021, he told me they were not allowed to talk to him about crypto. They weren't even allowed to mention it. He couldn't even say, what crypto are you involved in? What cryptos do you like? They were not allowed to say anything. So they were not built a trusted authority since 2014. So that's so funny. Really, really funny. Sorry, having some mic trouble. Mic went flying. The stupid Bluetooth mouse went flying. So it's fitting, though, that happens when we're talking about Fidelity, because this is a complete lie right here. Trust is built over years of experience. Yeah, okay. Unbelievable. So it makes me sick. I'm going to stop here so I don't rant and get myself in trouble. But appreciate the support, guys. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock Eastern. And then same thing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 5 days a week now. I really think the bottom has been in for a couple months now. and we get any news of the launch for Pulsechain, I think Hex will make all-time highs before mainnet is here. So that's my tinfoil hat prediction for the day. Texan's going to lose his zero any day now, and Bitcoin's going to 100K by September 1st. Just kidding on that one. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
At Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance. We are the future of crypto.